Having spent weeks in the flashback, we finally get to meet Lady Toki. Shonen Ouji here to dig deeper into your favorite anime and manga, and in this One Piece review, I'm going to share my thoughts on Toki's introduction, as well as Oden's induction into the Whitebeard crew. So without further ado, let's get into this review of One Piece chapter 964. So this chapter, we meet Toki, and she's still very much a mysterious character. So we meet Toki, and she's in this confrontation with these slavers on this random island. And we learn a good chunk about her, but there's also like a bit to her that makes her still mysterious. So we learn that she's not originally from Wano, which is bizarre to think about considering that, one, she has a katana, and two, she's dressed in a kimono. So if she's not from Wano, she's very much obsessed with like Wano and like Wano / Japanese culture. So I'm interested to see like where she's like originally from and why she's so obsessed with Wano. I'm not sure. But we also learn that she's from 800 years in the past. Now, that should ring a bell for every One Piece fan because that is exactly when the Void Century occurred. I think that's when it ended. So this is basically a confirmation. There's like a little chance that it's just a coincidence that she like maybe was born right after or like right before, but Toki is pretty much confirmed from the Void Century. Now again, this is why I say we know a good chunk about her, because now we know she's from 800 years, pretty much like confirmed Void Century, not from Wano, but we know this stuff, but we also don't know like where in the world, like geographically, was she from, and like why is she obsessed with going to Wano. So I'm interested to see what happens with her, because I think, and this is like my headcanon, my like bro science now, this is going to tie into the current story, because we know that the Kozuki clan forged the poneglyphs, but I'm not sure. See, this is interesting because timing is such a big key with all these events. I'm not sure if, I can't remember off the top of my head, but the Kozukis were the ones who made the poneglyphs, but they also had the pact with Zou prior to these flashback events. So what my prediction is that Toki is going to tie in with the poneglyphs and at least their purpose, because my guess is that because she's from the Void Century, she has some knowledge of the poneglyphs, or if she can see into the future, which it doesn't seem like, but it's a possibility. It seemed like she might want to go to Wano to help out with the poneglyphs and all that, but I don't know. Again, there's so much we know about her, but there's so little we don't know about her. For example, she has a katana, so we don't know how strong she is. In this situation, it's like 1v5, like she's very much like at a disadvantage. But the mere fact that she has a katana suggests that she should know how to use it. I mean, she has the hilt, she's dressed in the kimono. It could be that she's just like a nerd of Japanese culture. Maybe she watches anime, but it could be that she's trained with it. So I'm interested to see how strong she is. We also have the beating between Toki and Oden. And I'm pretty sure this is not how I expected this to occur. And I mean, it's One Piece. Oda likes to mess with our predictions of what's going to happen because he knows what we're thinking and he likes to toy with us. But my, I guess what I thought was going to happen is it was going to be like a very typical, like, romantic type meeting where Oden comes in, he's very, like, manly, and he comes and he saves the day, blah, 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 blah. But that wasn't exactly how it happened. We saw him come in, but because of the trial with Whitebeard, which I'm going to talk about right after, he's like all soaked up and beaten up and he looks like a monster. And afterwards, when they like clear up what happened and why he was all weird, and the two like talk to each other, first of all, he says, "Oh, I kind of wish you weren't like so obsessed with Wano. Like I was kind of looking for some foreign action." And then we have the bit where she says, "Oh, I really want to go to Wano," and he does like almost the same face as earlier when the retainers, the scabbards, had like creeped him out, and now he's doing the same face. So it's like little bits like this where like I know we're so far behind in the anime, but I can't wait to see this animated. But I don't know, it just broke my expectations. I thought it was very fitting to the characters. I mean, poor Toki. I mean, she had to, like, of all the men in Wano, she had to have met Oden, which it's kind of hard to impress Oden. So on top of like it being Oden, like her dream of going to Wano, like could not have been the worst person to tell that to. Finally, we have the induction with Oden and Whitebeard, and I mean, this wasn't as like jaw-dropping as Toki, and I mean like I more or less expected something like this to happen because I mean it's Whitebeard. He's one of the manliest men among manly men, and he's seen a thing or two in his lifetime, and he knows that guys like Oden are bad news. And he says something about this when they're eating Oden on the beach, and he says something like, "Look, you seem like a cool dude, but it would be kind of a pain to have you on my ship because guys like you don't really do too well serving under other people. My last crew, we did that. It didn't work out too well." And so we see that Oden has to like prove his worth to Whitebeard, and I like that because it's Oden. He did all that cool stuff as a kid. He did all that cool stuff when he saved Curry. And like all his retainers, all the scabbards had to prove themselves to Oden. And we have this like weird contrast between the scabbards and Oden, and then Oden and Whitebeard. So it would only make sense that Oden himself would have to go on this test, this ordeal, to prove himself to Whitebeard. I don't really think that it's like particularly important like how he did it. I just think, although actually I kind of like that it was him holding the chain in the ocean because it doesn't have like any deeper meaning necessarily, but it's cool to think about that like he's trying to get on a ship to go out to sea. So I don't know, I guess it's a metaphor in the sense that like if you want to prove that you're like seaworthy, that you're like ready for a life on the ocean, you need to prove that like you can handle yourself in the water, I guess. I don't know. I'm like really stretching this here, but it's a bit of a connection, but I don't think like the nature of the ordeal was too important. So after Oden completes his trial for Whitebeard, we see everyone hanging out on the ship, and we see Inu, Neko, and Izo. So we see how future events come together rather conveniently, and we get a better understanding of them, which makes me think that the flashback is starting to wrap up, but I'll speak to that later. We get this great scene between Whitebeard and Toki. And poor Toki just wants to share her dream like every other One Piece character, but it's not exactly the best time because she shares it with Whitebeard, who is kind of curious. He's got a lot of strangers on his ship, so he wants to know who the heck this lady is. And she goes, "Oh, well, I'm from 800 years in the past, and I came here just to go to Wano." And Whitebeard immediately is just like, ugh. Like, he's just listening to this. He's like, please don't make me go back to Wano. Which, it really speaks to how Oda can make these great faces. We saw more recently with Kid, where he was watching patiently in the prison, and he had this blank expression, and it allowed readers to infer what he was thinking. So it was artistic in that sense. And on the comedic end, we have these faces with Oden and Whitebeard, where it's not like so much a like dialogue reaction, where it's like this facial reaction where we can like pretty much estimate what they're thinking, but it still allows readers to like put it together in their head. So I really like this scene, and I really liked how everything is coming together. And at the very end of the chapter, we see the Roger pirates are learning about this, and Roger would like to go meet Oden. So based off of this chapter, and based off of the fact that the end of the year is coming, I have a feeling that the flashback will spend like a few more chapters in the flashback. Maybe like, I can't imagine more than 5 more. Like, I can't imagine the flashback going like 2 or 3 weeks into the new year. Unfortunately, we have a break next week. I mean, I think we have 2 more breaks in this year, one next week, and then one like towards the end of the month. But I'm really fascinated because we're seeing how things are coming together, and I really want to see like why Izo decided to stay with Whitebeard, what happens with Neko and Inu, how Oden goes to join Roger. So everything's coming together, and I'm just really dying to see what happens next. Anyway, that is my review for this chapter. I know there's a lot more to talk about, but that is everything that I wanted to discuss. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it. It really does support the channel. Make sure to subscribe so you can see my future videos. I'm currently working on a hero highlight for Todoroki. I'm very busy with school, so I'll try to get that out relatively soon. Make sure to follow me on Twitter because I'll update you on Todoroki, but also let fans know what I'm watching, what I'm reading, what I think of new chapters. Thank you for listening, and I hope to hear from you soon.